This podcast is brought to you by JList.com. JList.com has so many best-selling Nendoroids over on their website. They have a lot of pre-orders you guys can pick from. They have Tanjiro and Nezuko from Demon Slayer, Coco Nendoroids from Is the Order a Rabbit, Eijiro Kirishima from My Hero Academia, and other favorites such as Kodako Iwanaga from Inspector, Ryder from Fate Grand Order, and a ton of Nendoroids from non-anime properties as well, such as Harry Potter, Animal Crossing, even stuff like Zootopia. JList and JBox.com has 300 or more Nendoroids on sale right now and so many pre-orders. You're practically guaranteed to find something really adorable for your office, like I have, or at home, and you can show off to your friends by being the first one to have one of these by getting a pre-order. Head over to JList or JBox.com right now. Browse a huge selection, and you'll be supporting the podcast. And now, time to start the show.
You're listening to the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Take your anime addiction to the next level at aaapodcast.com/join. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Welcome to episode 523 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Joining you on May 10th, a lovely spring day here in Denver, Colorado. I am your host, Mitsuki, and I am joined by absolutely every single hopelessly addicted anime addict that we have. We have the fantastic and very cutely clean-shaven, love his little face, love it, Enzo.
What's up, team? What's up, fam? What's up, addicts out there? Sorry I missed last week. I had to do laundry in the pandemic. Who would have thought? I'm so sorry. But here I am. I'm happy to be here with you guys. Let's talk about some anime today, boys.
Strange times we live in.
Strange times.
We also have the ever spicy, his headphones match the spiciness of him. His name is Mason.
How's it going, everyone? Yeah.
Oh, no. He's not on the stream.
What?
You're not on the stream. We have two Enzos.
Oh my goodness, that's the way nature intended. That's how life should be. I'm duplicated.
Our secret has been revealed.
I'm so sorry. I wanted to say that before we went too far. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's okay. Enzo's just twice as cute today, so we're keeping it all on there.
And we also have the... Oh, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead while I fix your camera.
Okay, I was going to say, because I am Enzo today now, apparently, in honor of him not having Oreos, I have a special treat that I will be eating during the podcast in honor of our review today. But it is beans. You're not wrong. I was waiting for the stream to show it.
Such a bean boy.
I'll wait till I show off, and then I'll reveal my grand.
There you are.
My grand. Okay, here we go. We're gonna eat dorayaki. These are the
show off.
These are red bean, like pancake looking things in honor of the review we have today. So I'm gonna be snacking on these, and you're gonna hear me unwrap stuff because true to Japanese fashion, everything is wrapped in layers and layers.
Everything.
Yeah, so enjoy.
Well, let's not forget Mandi. We have Mandi. She's rocking a very nice looking little jacket there. It looks like almost like a Letterman jacket. There you go. It is a Letterman jacket. Boom, nailed it.
It's my Seirin jacket from Kuroko no Basket.
Well, there you
hey
go.
Guys. It's actually really warm and really nice, nicely made. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Dope.
I'm going to crack open a pink monster here.
You changing up those colors, huh?
Fuck. Wait a second.
You always changing up those colors, huh?
Oh, I love it every time. And since I'm
You
doing...
gotta get the slurp on the stream.
Oh, okay. Here.
There you go.
Ooh,
That's much
there
better.
it is. That's what I want.
Since I will be doing no impressions today, I will be making Toll House chocolate chip cookies. Not as fancy as Mason, but I will be pulling them out of the oven. Oh, hot and piping. I'm telling you what, it's going to be a cookie day today, guys. Anyway, if you want to follow the podcast, you can do it over at Twitch, twitch.tv. That's where we're broadcasting live right now. We are around 1,000 followers. You can maybe be the 1,000. Make us very happy. That would be great. And we're also over on pretty much all the other social media outlets. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. And, of course, the Discord channel is probably the best place to make your anime addiction worse on this podcast. The Discord, you can find it from our website, aaapodcast.com. Right along the top, there's a button. Take you straight to the Discord, and you can join thousands of other anime addicts that are on there chatting, watching anime together, reading manga together. Guys, you know what? Rather than me just rattle it off, why don't you tell me what we have going on in Discord right now?
As we do every week, because we need to guilt people into joining, because it's so much fun that we want everyone on board. We still have the seasonal watch party going. Saturday nights, 9:30 EST. We watch a whole ton of shows and just goof around, and it's just a good old laid-back time. We also have our bi-weekly anime club. We had a very spirited and popular meeting over Hibernate Renmei last week, and it was such a good discussion. Everyone had different opinions on it, and it was very engaging. It was a good time.
Well, there's only one opinion on Hibernate Renmei. It's definitely purgatory. So I mean, it just is. So.
It was certainly an interesting discussion, and everyone was just super nice about it, and it was a good time. But next up, we were watching the first half of Romeo x Juliet.
Oh.
Well, since I was like 14 or 15.
So that's going to be on May 20th at 10 p.m. EST, and you can watch that show on Crunchyroll and Funimation and Hulu. So, and also in the future, if you're ever like, oh, you guys talk about shows and you forgot to mention like where they're streaming, how do I find it? Where is it airing? We have links on all these websites on how to find out where to find shows. So just another reason to join the Discord.
I've been meaning to watch that one. So maybe now is my chance if I can ever stop watching Gintama, because I am back on the Gintama train. It's great. I'm loving it. So yeah, you also have my manga club. We are currently reading volumes 1 and 2 of Fruits Basket, and the discussion will be this Wednesday the 13th. So come join us at 10 p.m. EST on the Discord. Just hop into the manga club voice chat at that time, and then we'll just have a laid-back discussion about it. And if you are watching the anime currently, don't worry about any spoilers, because this is the beginning of the series.
And Mandy, what if I'm too shy to give my opinion during manga club?
You don't have to even talk. You could just come and listen.
Damn, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. Does that mean you're coming? Nope.
Yeah.
Oh.
You should. You get to hang out with all of us and just have a good time.
I have my movie club on Wednesdays. But
Oh, it's movie club.
I do love Mandy. And I do like manga.
Aww.
So
Wow.
yeah.
What do you think about Fruits Basket?
It's a basket with fruits. What more do you want?
Damn.
It's more
Exactly.
fruit, baby.
It's what it is.
It's exactly what the show is about.
Yes.
All right, guys. So on this episode today, we're gonna be doing we're finishing out the spring 2020 impressions. We have one more anime to pass from the spring 2020. We got 4 impressions to do today. I think that one of them got slashed, correct, Enzo? Was it because it hasn't started?
Never came out.
Yahari
It
Seishun,
was
yeah.
Origairu season 3, the Snafu romance one.
Yeah.
Yeah, got cut. Never came out. No episode 1 from what I've seen. So, unfortunately, I'll mention it again later on in the impressions, but obviously it's not passing.
All right, so we have Fugou Keiji, Balance Unlimited. We have Olympia Kyklos, hope I'm saying that right. And we have Woodpecker, Detective's Office. And last but not least, Chihayafuru Sama Love is War Season 2. or Kaguya-sama. Chihaya is a Sama too.
Watch Chihayafuru Love is War.
I mean, Chihaya she's basically
You're
a
not
Sama.
far off from the truth.
All right, so Kaguya-sama Love is War Season 2. And then we're going to do a review on Chihayafuru Season 3. So I got those blended up there. So without further ado, guys, a lot to get to today, so let's not waste any time.
大ニュースです。It's time for big news of the week.
Okay, so for big news of the week, which has been all over Twitter, my Twitter has exploded.
The memes have been insane.
Yeah. Inuyasha anime is getting a spin-off series this fall. So it's confirmed on Friday that Rimiku Takahashi's Inuyasha franchise is inspiring a new anime spin-off titled Yasha Hime Princess Half Demon. And the synopsis for the new series is the daughters of Sesshomaru and Inuyasha set out on a journey transcending time. In feudal Japan, half-demon twins Towa and Setsuna are separated from each other during a forest fire. While desperately searching for her younger sister Towa, wanders into a mysterious tunnel that sends her into present-day Japan, where she is found and raised by Higurashi's brother, Sota, and his family. 10 years later, the tunnel that connects the two eras has reopened, allowing Towa to be reunited with Setsuna, who is now a demon slayer working for Tanjiro. Oh, Kohaku.
Tanjiro. My
But-
girl said Tanjiro. I love it.
But to Towa's shock, Setsuna appears to have lost all memories of her older sister. Joined by Moroha, the daughter of Inuyasha and Kagome, the three young women travel between the two eras on an adventure to regain their missing past. So for the cast, Teruo Sato, who was an episode director in Inuyasha, is directing this with Sunrise, and Katsuyuki Sumisawa, who was the original script writer, is now coming back to write the script for this one. And Takahashi herself is credited as the main character designer, with Yashihito Hishinuma. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Yeah, Hishinuma.
Okay, is returning from the original to also adapt the designs for animation, and Kaoru Wada is back to compose the music.
Ooh, so we're getting more.
Yeah.
Also, if we have the same script writer, does that mean that we're gonna get more yelling back and forth?
Probably.
Probably, right? They have to.
And I'm sure with Takahashi being like the main character designer, I'm sure that's just a leftover. Like she did the first designs, so it's still her. Like I can't imagine. I don't know.
Yeah, but also Viz confirmed that they do have the rights to stream this and to sell it in North and Latin American territories.
Oh,
So
heck yeah.
I'm excited. Twitter is excited.
Yeah,
I-
Twitter blew up.
It has been a while since it's blown up that much. So not since
Mhm.
the millionaire detective Thirst.
Yeah, since I guess only a powerhouse like Inuyasha can combat hot anime boy thirst, tbh.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited too. I just hope it doesn't like. I hope it's not a Boruto. Like I hope it's not like Boruto. Like,
That's exactly what I was thinking of. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Naruto has kids. Inuyasha can have kids.
right? Yeah, but let's hope that it's not Boruto. I just don't want like Moroha's dad memes. Like I don't want that for Inuyasha. So
Oh yeah.
I mean, I haven't watched a lot of it. I mean, I watched probably the first, so like, I've seen probably the first 50 episodes of Inuyasha like 30 times, but after that, nothing. So is this something do you guys know, is this something that I'll be able to watch? Is this going to be does it have deep lore? Do I have to know everything about Inuyasha to understand about their kids and shit? So I don't even know who, I presume it's Kagome's kid with Inuyasha. I don't know.
First we have to figure out who Sesshomaru got down and dirty with.
yeah, first of all,
I think we know.
Who didn't
but...
he?
Yeah, first of all, and why wasn't it me? Is the question?
Yeah.
Yeah, why
Oh,
was
my-
it me? Why
Yeah,
is
what
my
the
kid?
My
Yeah.
poor boy Sesho just
God damn it.
fall from grace.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this could be really cool. I mean, obviously, more of something in the same world is usually a good thing as long as it's executed well. And it seems like the staff is the same for the most part. Like the core staff is similar, so my hopes are pretty good. My hopes are good.
Yeah. So I like Inuyasha. I think it's good for anime. More of it is fine. So yeah, it's all the same staff. I think it'll be consistent. People are probably excited. People are blowing up. Shit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now that we made everyone feel happy about Inuyasha, let's have everyone feel even happier. We're going to the next level with Enzo Senpai's Notice Me Corner.
皆さんおめでとうございます Join us in Enzo Senpai's Notice Me Corner.
What's up, fam? This is Enzo Senpai's Notice Me Corner. Blah, 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 blah. What's up, fam? Welcome
You got
to
this.
Enzo Senpai's Notice Me Corner, where you guys can write into the podcast and have us congratulate you on something you're working on, something you've accomplished, or something you're just happy about. Because, like I say whenever I'm on the podcast, we love you and we want to make it known. I'll give you a little shout out. So, This week's comes from. Oh my God, English is hard today. Comes from
English is just
the
hard in
Jedi
general.
Panda, and they say, "Hey AAA, I hope you're having an amazing day. I just had to make it right. Oh, let's see. Hey AAA, hope you're having an amazing day. Sure. Earlier this year, I had surgery for my torn ACL, and I had meniscus repairs done as well. I had gained some weight during the recovery
Mm.
period, and it was noticeable for sure. When I was released back to go back to work, I had hit a whopping 305 pounds, my heaviest ever. I am now roughly 272 to 274, and I'm dropping weight, and I'm still dropping weight, and on my way to Shred City. And I dropped
Yeah.
all this weight in about 2.5 months. All of you guys are awesome, and I love what you guys do. Keep it up. Jedi Panda, weight loss is something that so many people out there really struggle with. So congratulations, first of all, to get the courage and motivation to start, because that's what stops people a lot of times. So congratulations, getting the motivation and the courage to start, and congratulations for losing the amount you've already lost. Um, please keep in mind, please do it healthily. Please do it in a way that doesn't hurt yourself. But I'm so very proud that you have lost the weight you've lost, and I can't wait to you hit mayor of Shred City mode. Let us know when that happens. I want to see you be the mayor of Shred City, my
He's gonna
guy.
be he's gonna be the bus driver to Shred City. Take a whole bunch of bros with him, and there's a pretty active health club on the Discord, by the way. So
There is.
and
People are out there running. People are getting new
Yeah.
shoes and sharing them. It's a good time. It's a good
and
place.
Mason and I can be enticed to discuss in that health club. So if you want to jump in there and talk with other people that are like-minded, head over to the Discord. Go to the health
Yeah,
club
man.
section. So it'll be a good time.
I say I'm a big health nut as I am about to eat 5 pancakes of red beans. So we'll see if I can still vouch for that. But no, congrats, my dude.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna do a little bonus. A bonus Enzo Senpai Must Be Corner. I know today is Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. If you have your mom near you, reachable, you can call them, you can pray to them. Tell your mom you love them. Tell
Yeah.
your damn mom. Tell your damn mom that you love her. Okay. Anyway, with that, I want to give a shout out to my dad for this Notice Me Corner because my dad has been working really, really. Oh my God, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. Nope,
Oh,
nope.
look at
I'm
him.
not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. But shout out to my dad. He has been working for the last year on publishing his first like legit poetry book. It's poem. He's been writing poetry his whole life. Over the last year, he's looked through his entire archive and written over like even more original works and compiled them into a book that contains, I think, 50 poems by him.
Damn.
I won't say the name of the book or whatever, just for privacy or whatever. But I'm just so incredibly proud of my dad. He's been working so hard on this book for so long, and it was really cool to be with him in the kitchen as he read to me what the poems he wanted to include, to ask me my opinion on them. And it's crazy to be able to see that book is now in other people's hands and that they're liking it. So congratulations, Dad. I know you're listening to the podcast, but I'm really proud of you, dude. So
Oh,
that's
Oh
it.
man.
you're gonna make me cry.
I don't know. I'm just really proud of him.
You know, if he writes another 50, we could play a card game out of his poems.
We
It's
probably could.
true. We could. We could play cards.
Oh
He
shit.
probably's got 50 laying
Perfect.
around.
Episode to bring this up on.
Exactly.
But yeah, okay. That's it for Enzo Senpai's Must Be Corner. I had to do it.
Congrats, Papa NZ.
Yeah,
Papa
that's
NT.
awesome.
All right. Well, now let's take a trip to Japan. We're gonna be living big.
日本のいいとこ見てみよう It's time to live big in Japan.
A lot of people want to go to Japan. They want to know about it. Some people have already been there and want to go down memory lane. So today I'm going to talk to you about food and drink vending machines in Japan. So I'm going to go through my bullet point list here. First thing you should know is that vending machines in Japan, especially drink machines, are everywhere in Japan. You will probably... It would be a challenge to walk down a street in Tokyo without running into a vending machine. They are absolutely. It's almost like how how there was a philosophy for a while where Starbucks said, "Oh, we want you to see the next Starbucks from whatever Starbucks you're standing at." Well, that's kind of how vending machines are. They are everywhere, and sometimes there's just rows and rows of them. And personally, I think that vending machines in Japan just they just first of all they just crush what you're going to get in the United States. And the reason
100%.
it's such a joke, and the reason for that is because not only will they serve you cold drinks of many varieties, but oftentimes hot drinks in the same vending machine, sometimes food, and even beer. So some of the favorite favorite cold drinks that you'll see in vending machines, you'll see lots of different types of soda. You're going to want to try all of them because you're in Japan. Usually indicated by the little blue button that's below them that says cold in kanji, but my favorite, you can get your iced coffees from the vending machines, and a lot of times anime-themed drinks. So one of the years that I was in Japan, they were doing a promo for Dragon Ball Kai, I think it was, and it was like, oh, only this one vending machine company has these Dragon Ball drinks, and there's like 14 different images you can have. So they'll have like the outside of the can will have like a character from Dragon Ball like wrapped around it. So the can will look like Goku, or it'll look like the outfit of Piccolo or something. And I had pretty much all of them, I think. I think I threw them out because I moved to Denver and they were heavy. But very cool, very fun. You'll see like Dragon Ball, One Piece, other like really just usually the popular properties, like, stuff that everybody's the shonen stuff usually. But the hot drinks in Japan, I think, are what really set apart vending machines from things you'll be able to find in the States, because you can get a Coca-Cola anywhere, right? That's cool. But this is something very nostalgic about walking home after you're done teaching or working or whatever, and in Tokyo, Japan does get cold. It'll get into the 20s, and you're walking home and you're cold, and you walk by a vending machine, and the vending machine will have like hot soups in it. Like you'll get a can of like hot red bean soup. It's kind of like a soup, or like a hot cream corn. And even better than the taste of the drink is feeling the heat of the can on your hands, because they come out really hot, like hot enough that you almost have to transfer it from hand to hand because it's so hot on your skin. And there's just something really nostalgic and special about walking in the snow in Tokyo holding like a hot can of red bean right out of a vending machine. Just a really special sort of unique feeling for me, at least. Hot coffees, I think, are where it's at. Japan they have absolutely just nailed canned coffee. I mean, it is awesome. They have a ton of them, ton of brands. They come in cold, they come in hot, and sometimes you'll find hot food in Japan too. I think one time I was doing a Mount Fuji, like a hike near Mount Fuji, and I saw a vending machine like on a hill that had like, it literally dispensed hot French fries and hot yakisoba, I think, and like just in the middle of nowhere, and it's pretty interesting when you run into those. And then you'll find the beer machines, and I think they still have these. Last time I was in Japan, I certainly saw them. You'll have your brands. Yeah, and I don't think they ID you at the vending machine.
No, they don't. Mm-hmm.
I think it's just an honor system thing, and that's just like something I guess only a country like Japan gets away with, because I feel like you would just have like 15-year-olds raiding them in the U.S. They'd just be lining up to raid these machines. But you have all your brands, your Asahi, your Kirin, your Sapporo. Get a beer. It's probably, I don't know how much they cost. Maybe you guys know, but I'm guessing like 400 yen or something.
I don't remember.
But
I think Kimiko is the one who went and got them at the machine.
Gotcha. So and then you'll have your beer. Yeah, you have your beer, and the drinks range from like 100 yen to maybe 400 yen for a beer, and those magical little 100 yen coins. It's the best coin in the world. It's the size of it's almost exactly the color and dimensions of a quarter, or the dollar. And it's just awesome. And while I'm here, I want to dispel the myth, the used panty vending machine myth. I swear this doesn't exist. I have never seen it. Trust me, I've looked.
Searched.
Yeah, I've looked. There are.
You can get panties though.
You can get panties, I believe, in the women's restroom.
We got some. Yeah, we got some in like little gotcha balls. Yeah, and we found those in Japan.
They're for emergencies. They're for emergencies. We all know why. It's fine.
Or
but
just because it's funny.
you can't find used vending machines in a vending machine. You can.
Use vending machine. From
However,
vending machine.
However, there are this is a topic for a different time. I've told this story, but there are shops in Akihabara where you can buy naughty goods and you can buy supposedly used panties in some of those shops, but not in vending machines. So vending machines in Japan are great. I recommend everybody who goes to Japan, you need to set aside maybe $20 in your budget to just try things, because just sampling things is part of why you travel, and you will enjoy it. You will have a lot of fun not knowing what you're drinking. Just try everything and enjoy yourself. Vending machines in Japan are fantastic. It is part of why you go.
That vending machine was like my lifeline while we were there because when we went all together, I got extremely ill while I was in Japan. It could have been somebody's fault who's on this podcast. I don't know who.
Oh, whoa.
It's actually my fault because I wasn't wearing a mask and I should have. But yeah, I got super sick, and that warm tea out of the green tea out of the machine was so great for my throat and my voice. And oh man, the coffee, hot chocolate. Oh, that was one thing that I was depressed about when I came back home. I was like, I want that vending machine in my life. I was so sad.
Vince, I've got 2 questions for you. I think you're about to answer one of them, so go ahead.
Yeah, so KLogW in the chat asked a great question. It's an awesome question. Thank you for asking. Said, I heard that people don't walk around while eating in Japan. They finish their food by the vending machine or pack it away. Is that true? It is true usually, and most vending machines have trash bins built into them, so that you like if you're standing on a train platform in Japan, there's going to be a vending machine or 3 or 10. And the idea is, you're waiting for the train, get your drink it while you're waiting, finish it, and then throw it then put it immediately into the vending machine. It's one of Japan's many little tricks to prevent there from being trash on the streets. So, and it is impolite to eat food while you're walking on trains. The only, like I think we said before, the only place where I think it is socially acceptable to just eat while people are like looking at you is on a bullet train, because it's like hours and hours long. Other than that, yeah, it's people do it anyway sometimes, but it's considered impolite. Was that one of your questions, Mason?
It was, and I will say, like, taking drinks with you, I did that all the time, and I felt like that was fine. I think as long as you're conscious of the fact that, you know, I'm not going to litter and I'm not going to consume this, you know, right around the proximity of others, you'll be fine with that. Like, I would take green tea that was like resealable, and I would take some sips, close it up, and walk around with it. So that's fine. I was gonna say, I've been watching the show, Mitz, where you put in a coin with a star and you get superpowers from a vending machine.
Oh, really?
Ooh, where can I find that one? That's the one I'm looking for.
Oh man, that vending machine.
I like this old hotel, but
people have been looking for it.
Time.
They've been looking for it, and they're trying to figure out what those like little coins are for, you know. But it's weird.
Something
like
about aliens.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
It's so strange. Getting back to that, where Mason's alluding to Gleipnir, the anime from this season.
I was gonna say, I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
I have no fucking clue what you guys are talking about.
And Enzo and I are like, what the fuck? We'll just go with it though.
I'm just like, yeah.
I will say one more thing regarding that first question. I break the rule. I have eaten food while walking. I will eat clean foods like an onigiri or a calorie mate on a train. Like, I'm a hungry man. Like, I want to eat. So, you know, if I'm on a train don't be a dick about it. Yeah. Don't litter. That's the important thing. Don't litter. So that's that's the key, really. So
don't be rude. Don't be impolite.
Yep. Keep Tokyo clean. It's amazing that it's that clean, having 30 million people in it. So.
Yep. New York could learn a tip or two there.
All right.
Keep every city clean, but go above and beyond in Tokyo.
And that's the end of Living Big in Japan. If you want to submit questions to this segment, there is an option on our mailbag button on our website, aaapodcast.com. You can go there, you click the mailbag button, and one of the choices is Living Big in Japan, and you can ask questions to us, and we will address them. So please do.
Oh, awesome. You'll address them, because I've only been once. Don't ask me. I don't know. Up next, we have our website trivia. If you would like to participate in our website trivia, go to aaapodcast.com and scroll down. There's a little tiny picture there from an anime. And if you can guess what anime that is from, you can win prizes. And this week's answer, which is so perfect, is Inuyasha. And the theme was anime shrine maidens. So last week's winner was the one and only Icy Rose.
Whoa.
Do we have the drop for him?
You know, where the hell is... Oh, there
Is
we go.
it gone?
There it is.
There we go.
There
Awesome.
it is.
And we also have the month winner. So the month winner for which month was?
Oh, I
Was
don't
it
know.
April?
What year is it?
What year is
We're
this?
not encapsulating months perfectly here. It's yeah.
Oh, that's what I thought. It's like half a month. But the winner is Yotaru Vegeta. So congratulations.
Fantastic.
The next theme is Mitsuki's lesser known favorites.
I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. We've done
You
everything.
know who does these now.
We've done everything.
What
All
about
right.
Enzo's lesser known favorites?
Well, maybe next time. Hey,
Next
maybe
week,
next month.
Maybe next month, baby.
It's gonna be a bunch of
There you go.
hentai.
Oh, yeah, of course it is.
I'm giving
Everyone
hints.
knows he loves
I'm giving
those.
hints. I'm giving hints.
Anyway, before we head out to our news break, we will leave you with a in-show weekly trivia question, which you have a couple minutes to try to answer. And it is, the Ogura Hakunin issue are the 100 poems that make up the cards for playing Karuta. Which of the following poem types and syllable counts make up these poems? Are they haiku with 17 syllables? Are they katatuata with 19 syllables? I'm probably messed it up. Are they tanka poems with 31 syllables? Or are they Sudoku poems with 38 syllables?
I love
We'll
playing
let you know.
Sudoku.
In a couple minutes. See you then.
It's cookie time, baby. Hey, all you anime addicts, Mitsuki is here, and I'm bringing you your anime news. Getting us started off, COVID updates, as we do every week. Sazae-san's anime has delayed new episodes for the first time in 45 years due to COVID-19, a huge deal, and frankly, a historical moment in Japan in anime, as Sazae-san has never been delayed in most of our lifetimes. Next up, going down the list here, Mamoru Oshii's Vlad Love anime is delayed due to COVID-19. Also, there are other delays. The Tokyo Game Show has canceled its 2020 event due to COVID-19, which is a fairly big deal. Quintessential Quintuplets anime second season delayed until January 2021 due to COVID. And there have been other delays as well of less significance. So if you are a fan of those properties or events, well, you might want to do some research online to find out when they are going to be planned to be rescheduled. Next up, some big anime announcement news. It looks like Key Visual Arts, Aniplex, and PA Works has been collaborating and will have a new anime coming out in October of 2020 called Kami-sama ni Natte Hi, or The Day I Became a God. Screenwriter is Jun Maeda, who has worked on such titles also by Key Visual Arts, such as Angel Beats, also worked on Charlotte. He is being credited as the original creator and screenwriter for the new anime, so if you're a fan of Angel Beats or Charlotte, you may have some resemblance to those works in this one. It looks like the synopsis centers around a character named Hina, a girl who awakens as a god and foresees the end of the world. She chooses a lone boy as her companion, who will spend time with her until the very end. Well, it sounds like another sad title, which is pretty much the MO of Key Visual Arts as they have made. Also, Canon, Clannad, and other titles such as Air, which are all very sad anime. Next up, going down the list here, we have another new anime coming out. Kyuketsuki Sugushina is receiving a new anime titled The Vampire Dies in No Time. This was announced in the 23rd issue of Shonen Champion of 2020. So this is the adaptation of Itaru Bonoki's manga of the same name. The synopsis: vampires are said to have many weaknesses such as garlic crosses and sunlight. Game-loving vampire Lord Draluk just so happens to be weak to everything. He dies, turning into a pile of ash at the slightest shock. after vampire hunter Ronaldo learned of a castle inhabited by a vampire rumored to have kidnapped a kid. He went there intending to take the evil down. However, the vampire turned out to be Draluk, a wimp who keeps turning into ash at the slightest, smallest things. Sounds like a comedy, so if you're a fan of comedies or if that plot synopsis sounds appealing, look out for this title, The Vampire Dies in No Time, coming out sometime soon. And lastly, a bit of interesting news. It looks like the Twitter account and the YouTube account for How Not to Summon a Demon Lord announced that it has canceled its free release of the anime series on YouTube due to content regulations on the platform of YouTube. The anime was, I guess, originally scheduled to be coming out on YouTube's, quote, full anime TV channel from April 30th to May 6th. Scratching my head, wondering why exactly, because, well, How Not to Summon a Demon Lord wasn't really all that risque. So this has been an ongoing battle, I guess, for a while. As back in July 2018, when the first season of the TV series was debuting, the official promotional video for the series was flagged also on YouTube. So this has been going on for a while. If you're a fan of How Not to Summon a Demon Lord, there is a second season coming out soon, which probably will also not be allowed on YouTube. If you were trying to watch this on YouTube, you might want to go to other avenues to watch How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. This was Mitsuki, and this was your anime news break, and now getting back to the podcast right now. Hey, all you anime addicts. I know a lot of you have been checking out J-List here and there throughout the years as they have been supporting us. But you should definitely go to J-List and jbox.com if you're in the market for some new Nendoroids, because they have tons of pre-orders of all sorts of different properties that you can pick from, so you can be one of the first to enjoy the coolest new Nendoroids that come out on the market. Tanjiro and Nezuko from Demon Slayer, Koko from a Nendoroid from Is the Order a Rabbit, Eijiro Kirishima from My Hero Academia. They have others such as Kotoko Iwanaga from Inspector, Ryder from Fate Grand Order. And I'll tell you, J-List, jbox.com, they also have tons of Nendoroids from non-anime properties that are super popular, such as Harry Potter. They also have lots of Animal Crossing Nendoroids, and even things from Zootopia. So J-List and jbox.com has nearly 300 Nendoroids on sale right now. If you go browse their selection, you're practically guaranteed to find one that's just for you. You can deck out your home or your office, as I have, with very cute Nendoroids that show off things that you're into, and also a great conversation starter at work. So head over to J-List or jbox.com right now and browse their huge selection of Nendoroids.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Glass, voice of Winry from Full Metal Alchemist, and Haruhi from Oran High School Host Club, and I am an anime addict.
Welcome back to the podcast. Before we left you, we had an in-show trivia question. The Ogura Hyakunin Ishu are the 100 poems that make up the cards for playing Karuta, which of the following poem types / syllable counts make up these poems? Are they haikus, katautas, tankas, or Sidoka? And the answer is tanka, which uses a 5-7-5-7-7 syllable system. So, for those of you that didn't know. And I believe that, let me see, Hyakunin, I believe there's a Hyakunin Ishu anime. Yep. Choyaku Hyakunin Ishu Utakoi, which came out in 2012 and was covered on this podcast way back in the day, and as I recall, was pretty good. So, just as
I
a
talked
side
about
note.
it not too long ago, also.
Yeah, I rewatched it for the first time, I watched it for the first time.
All right. Well, and now, as we always do at this time on the podcast, it's time for Mandy's Manga Minute. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
And now, let's take a minute for the Manga Minute with Mandi.
is Mandy's Manga Minute, where I take a minute to tell you about a manga and help you find something new to read. And this one is called Heaven's Design Team. And I read this digitally, so I do not have anything to show off on stream. I apologize. But in Heaven's Animal Design Department, designers create a variety of new animals daily, with contending with the unreasonable requests of their client, who is God. Funny, interesting, and full of useful information, this series answers questions such as, why can't unicorns exist? What makes an animal taste delicious? What's the most powerful creature in the ocean? And bird versus snake, who would win? Heavenly Design Team will make your next trip to the zoo or aquarium 100 times more fun. So, Heaven's Design Team is an educational comedy manga created by a three-man team. The manga is written by Hebi Zhao and Suta Suzuki, and the illustrations are by Tadako. There are currently 4 volumes available in English digitally, and the printed versions are up for pre-order now. But similar to like how Cells at Work and bookseller Honda-san, in a way, Heaven's Design Team makes learning about animals fun and uses a team of quirky angels. God is very demanding and gives them very vague descriptions of animals that he would like to put on Earth. And it's up to the design team to debate, argue, and collaborate on ways they can make the animals and how they can survive on the planet. So the step-by-step process gives you information on why some animals have the behaviors that they do, and why some mythical creatures, such as like a unicorn, could never exist. And there's no action, and the scenery hardly ever changes from the design room. But I have found this manga so much fun. After every chapter, they give you a list of facts about the animals that were in the previous chapter. And I personally love educational manga, and I plan on buying this entire series when it releases in the physical volumes. I'd say if you are looking for something that's kind of like a mix of Cells at Work's educational side and Honda-san's teamwork kind of side, then I highly recommend this manga. It's a lot of fun. One of my favorites. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, it sounds interesting. Did you find this just by looking up Heaven's Door? And when you put in D, it popped up with this, and you're like,
it caught me. I was looking for all the Rohan fanfics, and this came up. You're right. One of my favorite chapters in here is about one of the angels. Just to give you a quick example how this manga goes, because it's so funny. I'm trying to solve it to people. One angel makes up a snake, but the snake can climb trees and eat bird eggs. So the angel who made the birds is really upset because she's like, I don't want my cute birds to get eaten. So she's trying to find ways to prevent her eggs from getting eaten. So she's like, well, I'm going to try putting spikes all over it. And another angel's like, no, that's going to hurt the mother. You can't do that. She's like, I'm going to make the shells really hard so the snake can't digest them. Then the baby bird can't get out of the egg. She's like, well, that's a failure. So she eventually makes a bird, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna make it so that they make their nests hang down from trees, and that's the weaver bird, which she comes up with. But then it becomes like a constant war of like snakes trying to get to the nest and the next nest getting longer. She's like, screw it, and comes up the secretary bird, which is like a real bird. It does exist. It's like a huge bird who stomps snakes in the ground with its powerful feet.
Damn.
And the angel who made the snakes like, no, my snakes. It's really fun. I love it.
Snakes OP, please nerf. Birds aren't real.
They did say that. It's just like, man, his snake is too powerful. How is this accepted?
Please nerf snakes today.
It's really funny. I definitely recommend checking it out.
Fix snakes in next patch, please. Thank you.
Patch, please.
Nerf bat them, please.
At devs, please.
No, this sounds super cool. I think I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Is it time to get heated, Mason, with your anime arguments?
You know it, brother.
He's so fucking ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome to another bout of Anime Arguments, where people submit their arguments, or hot takes on popular opinions and tough questions, and we tell them why they're wrong. First up is from Yotaru Vegeta, who writes, two-toned hair has not been, nor will it ever be, a good character design choice. One would think that the only character it worked for was Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh!, but being possessed by an Egyptian pharaoh is what Yugi really had going for him. The hair doesn't matter. Two-toned hair is disgusting. No one wants it. Stop it. And I feel like some people of this. Oh, are we showing off our Suika cards? Sorry, I was in.
They were discussing the Suika on in the Twitch, and I was like, well, I might as well just go get my card. So here it is. Pretty fun. It's got a cute penguin. It's got a cute
I keep it in my
penguin.
wallet. I keep it in my wallet at all times. I
wallet
love it.
too.
Okay. Well,
I didn't get it customized. Anyway, two-toned hair. First of all, I think someone from this podcast is very anti two-toned hair, but here's my take.
that would be me.
Could be the person with no hair.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly. Okay.
hey.
First
Bald,
things first,
bald
my
is
guy.
beautiful.
Zero tone hair. How about that?
Zero tone hair.
All tone. It's like white. It's all the colors in it. Anyway,
All tone.
first of all, Yugi has three-tone hair. He has black, yellow, and red. So him being a good take for what two-toned hair is, not even the point, my guy. Second of all, there's plenty of characters with great two-toned hair. Hatsuharu from Fruits Basket, Death from Soul Eater, Bokuto from Haikyuu, Todoroki from My Hero Academia, a bunch of Trigger shows from Kill la Kill, Panty and Stocking, Kisniver, Gurren Lagann. So many two-toned hair. Bakemonogatari has them. I'm not going to say who because of spoilers. Pari Ranman, the show from last week, two-toned hair. I think that all looks fine. I think the kind of two-tone hair that is the most unappealing is where it's like a faded from like one to another, and I think that looks worse most times. But even like Senku from Dr. Stone or Chitoge from Nisekoi, they have like that fade, and I think it works for them. So I think two-toned hair is a very acceptable hair design choice. Sometimes it's not always bad, it's not always good, but I'm not immediately opposed to it. Meats, what do you think?
Well, you're wrong. So that's
Okay.
fine. Yeah. I don't know. I just find it. I'm curmudgeonly, and I don't like a lot of things that don't make sense for pretty much no reason at all. Bottom line, I think this is just personal taste for people. I don't know that it's, if I'm being dead serious, don't know that the color of a character's hair or the style really is ever good or not a good design choice, because everyone has their different thoughts. Now, if you ask me for my opinion, I find it annoying. So it seems very try hard. Like I have to make my character look extra cool. So every character in the anime Amnesia has to have like three-toned hair. Like, no, just get the fuck out of here with that. But, I'm also like an old curmudgeonly man, so, whatever. So, just opinion.
I'm a big fan. I like it in real life. I used to have two-tone hair. I think I was in my early 20s. I had short hair that was black, but I had like a swoop bang, and that whole bang was just blonde, bleach blonde.
Nice.
I thought you were going to say red. I'm like, oh, this is straight up Ryoko from Kill la Kill.
No, yeah, I loved that. I really wish I could do that again. Like, I just wish I had the ability to. Right now, who knows if I'll ever see a hairdresser ever again in my life.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah,
My hair is too long.
Go ahead, Enzo.
My opinion on the two-tone hair thing, I think with anything that is aesthetic, is within the aesthetic category, there's a place for it. There's a place for it. Like, it's, and there's also you have to do with some grace. I think like the Yugi example, I think that's a very aggressive two-tone right there.
Yeah,
So I don't even
three
know.
colors.
I don't even know if Yugi is the example I would use to defend that it would be a good thing to use it. I think if anything, Yugi is the one that's like, okay, that's a bit much. But with
the
grace,
handshakers of hair design.
yeah, with grace, with some nuance, two-tone hair is fine, guys.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
3 thumbs
would-
up.
If I could have rainbow hair right now, I would.
Boom.
There you go. There you go.
Give it
Two-tone. Get on my level. Next argument comes from Cream Puff, who writes, Berserk's best chance at an adaptation is actually an HBO-like live-action series. And first of all, I assume you mean best chance of a good/decent adaptation, because of the first adaptation of Berserk, aka the only one that exists, 1998, I think
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
That's good. It's a solid adaptation. And I agree with you that a live-action Berserk would work at the beginning. The Golden Age and Conviction arcs, I think, would be really solid and engaging and a bunch of fun. However, if you want a full series Berserk adaptation, I think we're going to run into some trouble, because the monsters that appear at the end are
Oh, yeah.
inevitably going to have to be done with CG. Like the Falcon and the Fantasia arcs that appear later are just there's so much weird creatures and the current 3D modeling software is around just would not look good. And it just in the future, maybe the far future,
It would
when we
require a
get there,
lot of money. Like, I think they could. It just required way too much money to do.
Exactly. And that's why I think the HBO like funding could help. But just for the amount of creatures that it would take, I think we need to wait a little bit longer. So maybe in the far future, I like this idea. I will say, you know, Berserk is a long-running, esteemed series with source material that is known for going on a hiatus and is still unfinished. And I think if we are trying to say, yeah, do what Game of Thrones did on HBO, I don't think that's the path I want to follow right now. So let's wait and see what happens. And I like this idea. I think we have some issues 2020. So,
I mean, I'll propose a shocking out of the box idea. Why don't we?
Lay it on me.
Why don't we have a well-known studio that has like sometimes darker looking art styles, like maybe Madhouse or something, do an actual animated sequel and not a fucking CG piece of shit?
You're speaking craziness.
For God's sake.
Madhouse is too busy doing Chihayafuru season 4. Please tell me that's real. So we'll have to wait till after that's over.
I could draw it.
I don't know if a sequel on HBO is gonna, you know, I just don't know if it would be good. You know, I feel like Berserk. Well, HBO has done a lot of objectionable stuff before, but there is a lot of shit in Berserk that is just not gonna be. It's just not gonna fly in live action.
You know, what would be the actual universe imploding on itself is if if a place like HBO did pick it up, but picked it up in anime form. Like if they funded an anime, I think that would be more interesting.
Has HBO done any
anime?
Yeah, like I'm thinking like same way like
sure.
Netflix or like Amazon will like fund.
Yeah, Netflix.
Program.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know we have those examples, but I think the reason why he's like Krimko says HBO is because HBO has darker theme mature shows on it already, like much darker, much more mature stuff. So I think it would be interesting if HBO was like, yeah, we'll pick up Berserk, but not as a live action. We're actually gonna do the anime.
Now I could be
weird.
Speaking out of my butt here, but didn't HBO just pick up a bunch of anime from Crunchyroll? Didn't they?
For real?
I could be wrong, but I could have swore I read something about that.
They're definitely showing all. They definitely have the license to the Ghibli works. They're doing on HBO Now or whatever it is. So.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, just read the manga, people. That's the answer.
Or just
is best consumed in that way.
Or just go watch the 1998 adaptation, further cementing that time period as the best time in anime that you ever have, probably. So, I don't know.
Not a bad idea either.
I mean, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's all we got. If you want to leave your own argument, go to the AAA.com main website, go down to the mailbag section, and leave your own hot takes, and we will get to them soon enough.
Zero Ryoko says HBO Max will have 17 Crunchyroll titles. Okay.
Oh, awesome. So I wasn't completely talking out of my butt.
You were speaking out of your butt. You just happened to be right.
You're right.
I need
my
that.
butt is very smart.
Your butt did speak, yes.
I need that drop from Ace Ventura when he goes, "Excuse me, I'd like to ask you a few questions." Anyway, all right. So for those of you that are old enough to know Ace Ventura, so we are now at the last bit of our impressions. We have 4 more to do here from the last season, which was the spring. Oh, wait a second. What was that? What was that, Kazuo? Oh, the volume's down so low. That's the wrong drop.
Today, we're going to be doing impressions.
Impression time, believe it!
You know, eventually I'll
They
learn
didn't even notice.
Yeah, I'll learn how to execute.
It's okay. Our listeners are, they I'm sure they don't even know.
Enzo stumbling over the beginning of Notice Me Corner.
Yeah.
Mitz is dropping the drops. I'm being whatever I am. No, this is just par for the course.
Yeah. It's part of the magic,
So here's what's going to happen here. You guys are going to do impressions on Fugou Keiji, Balance Unlimited, Olympia Kyklos, Woodpecker's Detective's Office, and Kaguya-sama Love is War Season 2, and I am going to go eat chocolate chip cookies and enjoy your talk. How does that sound?
Sure. Yeah,
All
man.
right,
Do
well,
what you gotta do. Is it only me and Mandi talking?
Nope.
Nope.
You have Kaguya-sama.
I got Kaguya, baby.
Okay, okay,
I
okay.
know,
Oh
ain't that some
shit!
shit?
As he
Okay,
taunts
okay,
you with
okay.
it. All right. So
All right.
why don't we just go down the list here? We'll start with Fugou Keiji.
Yeah, I actually can just do my two together because unfortunately one of them is delayed. So like we mentioned like you mentioned at the beginning of the episode, I actually have 3 anime left for my picks. Two of them Mitch just mentioned, and the third one was Origaru season 3. Origaru has been perma delayed due to COVID. So that is we're not even going to entertain speaking about it because there's nothing to talk about. No episodes ever came out. So unfortunately, Origaru is getting a fail this season, so we'll check in with that anime if it ever does get come to fruition. So next I want to talk about Fugou Keiji Balance Unlimited, and I talked about the synopsis about this show back in the impression round of it. It is about a rich bajillionaire called Kanbei, and he joins the detective force in I believe it's still Tokyo in the show. I forget, but I'm pretty sure it's Tokyo. In Tokyo, he becomes part of the detective force, and there is a person that, oh my god, I'm forgetting his name, but our main protagonist in the detective force um doesn't like that Kanbei is joining because Kanbei is, part of the first 3 episodes, solving pretty much every case they come up with through money, through sheer unfucking filtered use of money. Like Kanbei put first of all, Kanbei is hot. He's cute. He's hot. He's in his black suit. Like there's a scene that I thought was crazy of him like coming in a helicopter or a car or whatever, and he's like um he puts on these glasses and tells his AI, he's like, yo, just calculate the damage for all this um and send everyone that has damages, just refund them all the money for the damage I'm about to cause. And he blows some shit off a building off in order to stop the crime happening, and like it's ridiculous. It's pretty ridiculous. And but the interesting part of this is that the other protagonist, yeah, like I mentioned, does not like Kami's way of doing things. He wants to do things, not being so dependent on money. So that conflict of ideals that I wanted, when I first passed the show, is definitely there in the first 3 episodes. And with that is also really, what I think is really sweet animation. I think the acting is pretty good. The characters feel pretty good. Is a nice cast of characters at the moment. You don't really know too much about many of them, but the main characters get a lot of time to shine. Um, and it's all around like a really, I was enjoying the show a bunch. But the reason I'm just going quickly on Fugou Keiji is that unfortunately this anime after episode 3 was also delayed until further notice due to COVID. So this puts us in a predicament where even though the first 3 episodes were good and in a different world, I would definitely be passing this. However, with the delay, like Mandy mentioned, I think in the last episode that I listened to that I wasn't on, I'm going to obviously I want to say fail, but what I mean by that for people, because I know there are fans of the show already, um, what I mean to say by fail is that next season we'll see how the cards play out. In a world where like there's not enough really good shows for us to really give a shit about next season. I don't know how true that's gonna be, but in a world where there's not enough shows that really interest me, I might just bring this back to the plate, assuming that by the end of next season it's fully out and released if COVID is handled by then. But at the moment, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to fail Fugou Keiji Balance Unlimited, which is a shame because even though Kanbei is a rich, stuck-up bajillionaire, I kind of liked him. So, failing that one for now.
It's
Now,
not technically a fail. It could be back
it could be
next
it's like
season.
it's like technically a fail. It's like yeah. But next up is Olympia Kyklos.
Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum, bum, 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 bum,
Ba-ba.
bum, bum, bum.
Ba-ba.
Yeah. Okay. I don't even know how to fucking
What the
start
hell
here.
was
So
that?
Olympia Kyklos.
That's the
I think
opening of the song.
yeah.
Oh, really?
I listened back to the impression I did of this show, and I think I rant all over the place because the mal description was a piece of shit. So let me recap real quick what Olympia Kyklos is about. Olympia Kyklos takes place in ancient Greece and in Tokyo Polis, or whatever the fuck they're calling it in this anime, and in ancient Greece and modern day Tokyo. And the how we are roped into this is that we start in ancient Greece and we follow a character named Demetrius. He is a very athletic, very built, like like a pretty strong guy. He's pretty
Handsome.
funny too. He is in love with Apollonia, this the daughter of the mayor of the
Hmm.
city. And the Olympics are about to go down in ancient Greece, and the mayor sees Demetrius running, and he's like, Demetrius, you are actually really fucking athletic. If you even want a chance with my daughter whatsoever, you have to participate in the Olympics and represent our town in the Olympics, and bring us honor and money. And Demetrius is kind of like a lazy slob. He's not a slob. He's kind of lazy. He's not really about competition or whatever. So he goes into hiding, and he's an artisan. He makes vases and he makes vases, and with paintings and drawings on them. So he goes into hiding inside of one of these big vases he's made, and he's in there contemplating what's going on. And all of a sudden, this vase gets struck by lightning.
Oh.
And then it sends him like whirling into the future, and he lands inside an apartment in Tokyo
Oh,
Palace.
what the
Um, yeah, in modern day Tokyo, inside in a family's home, and that's really the premise of the show. Quickly to cover a very glaring difference between this anime and other anime are: one, it's 5 minute episodes, and two, it's stop motion it's like it's animated stop motion. It's like
claymation.
it's
It's 2D. It's weird.
claymation, stop motion, cutouts being moved on strings. It's really visually fucking cool, TBH. Each episode's 5 minutes. The OP is mad fun. The EDs are by far my favorite part. Um, because the EDs have a bard named Hornelius.
I don't
Hornelius.
remember exactly. That sounds right though.
Yeah, and he's like the bard for the end of the episode. So each ED has a different song, which is really interesting. And so far, the 3 episodes that are out on Crunchyroll that would take you a total of 15 minutes to watch are really funny. Like they're really really funny. There's just a weird sense of humor in the show, about how ridiculous it all is. And yeah, so however, Olympia Kyklos is like it's one of those shows where there's not much meat to like bite into for a full review per se, right? It's 5 minutes of gags. I mean, really well executed gags, and the animation is just really out there, but in a really good way. So overall, like I'm going to easily keep watching Olympia Kyklos because this show is it's being memed as 10 out of 10, but like it's just really fucking good. Like it's good. So I would say community listeners check out Olympia Kyklos. Like don't get dissuaded by the thumbnail looking not anime or by the time length being 5 minutes. It's actually it's worth a watch. But for review purposes on the podcast, I will be failing it. But yeah, it's a it's a it's a good time.
Does it have an idol episode?
Not yet.
No, but there's lots of naked men.
Lots
That's
of
a
Oh,
very
Mandy.
strong component of the show.
chiseled granite
nothing-
boy butts.
Nothing Enzo just said was wrong, but nothing will prepare you for what you're about to watch if you've never
Ooh.
seen this show. It's similar to, like I've said before, like Thermae Rome, the guy who gets transported from ancient Greek to modern day Japan to look at like the hot
Right back
springs and stuff like that. But it's definitely goofy. It's no Girl and Dino. It's not that good, but it's something.
All right, well, here's your drop.
That is one big pile of shit.
That's pretty harsh.
And Mitch, during these impressions, how many cookies did you just eat?
I've already eaten 5 chocolate chip cookies.
Ooh,
Heck yeah.
dang,
But
that's
listen,
really fast.
but like I nearly
How big are they?
I mean, they're not huge. They're about 2 inches diameter. I mean, but like, come on. I nearly summited a 14er yesterday. So I'll tell you what.
I'm not judging.
Oh, I know, man. But the Fitbit said 27,000 steps, 1,900 calories burned. So you know what? The way I see it, I'm replacing my flesh. It's gone.
I am the cookie monster.
I'm gonna eat all the rest of these cookies before the impressions are done, and they are delicious.
Yeah. Challenge accepted. Go, go, go,
Oh,
go, go.
so
Quick.
good. Fuck.
So I'll go next, and mine was Woodpecker Detective's Office, and this is based off of an old novel, and is being adapted by Linden Films, and it's available on Crunchyroll if you want to watch it. So the director is also Shinpei Izaki, and I don't know if he has done anything. He was the director for Guilty Crown Lost Christmas.
Oh my.
And he was an episode director for Kimi ni Todoke. And he's the director for Hanebado. So that's who that person is. But yeah, so Woodpecker Detective's Office, when I first saw the PV for this, I was like, this looks interesting, because I actually really like the aesthetic of it. I think it has a really nice color palette. I thought the character designs were interesting, and it has kind of that like little Bungo Stray Dogs vibe to it, where all the characters are based on real life poets and authors. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna try this out. So it's about a man named Ishikawa Takuboku, and he is a poet, and he's on the brink of homelessness. And so he also meets Kindaichi Kyosuke, and who's another man who's kind of like his biggest fan. And they meet one night in the red light district and happen upon a murder. And so they work together to try and solve this murder. And then afterwards, they decide to open up their own detective agency together. It's like a less exciting Bungo Stray Dogs. But yeah, so it's going to be really hard to talk about this without spoiling things, because it is a murder mystery. And
right.
So without giving details on what's happening, it's going to be really hard for me to talk about. So that's your spoiler warning for the first 3 episodes. So yeah, the first man, I really like the look of the show. The problem is I don't feel like it's clever enough. It felt very bland to me. So in the first episode, when they find this murder in this red light district, when they find this man murdered in this room, they the blood splatter, there's a note under him. There should have been a blood splatter there. And they're like, wow, it's not matching up with the crime scene. And so they're like, well, the person who murdered him must have taken the note somewhere. And to me, I don't know. It's like whenever they find evidence or something, it doesn't feel satisfactory for me, because it feels like very obvious things. Like, for example, they're like, wow, where could this head note have gone, the real one? And the other guy is like, or Ishikawa picks up the wastebasket and all this like burned paper falls down. He's like, right here. And they act like it's a really big reveal. And I'm thinking, no, that's usually where you would just discard a note. It's just, I don't know. To me, it felt so bland. And then the next 2 episodes, the Ishikawa and Kindaichi go to a brothel in the red light district, and Ishikawa is trying to get Kindaichi to sleep with this girl, and so they both go up to rooms together with these girls, and Ishikawa is like spying on him the entire time. He's like, he's gonna finally sleep with a woman. I don't know. It's really dumb for me. But Kindaichi eventually runs out of the room, and then when Ishikawa goes over there, he finds the girl murdered. And so they're like, oh, well, they're trying to solve the murder. Ishikawa is trying to implement trying to say that his friend Kyosuke or Kindaichi is responsible for this murder. What a great friend, right? And so,
yeah, for sure.
But Kindaichi's like, no, I'm innocent. I left. She was alive when I left, and I didn't come back for the rest of the night. And so, as they're going on, we find out that no, the girl actually just killed herself, committed suicide because Kindaichi wouldn't sleep with her. And I'm like,
what?
It's very unsatisfactory.
That sounds
it felt
intense.
really dumb to me. It's very stupid. I did not enjoy it at all. Like, even towards the end, we find out that Ishikawa actually knew the entire time. He knew that she killed herself, but he was mad at his friend for not having slept with her. And I'm like, I don't know. It was not, I don't know. It just felt very unsatisfactory. It felt bland, and I did not enjoy it at all. So I am failing it. I don't know what else to say other than that. And also, I want to bring up the person who actually solved that mystery was Edogawa Rampo.
It's always Ranpo.
It's
It's
always
always Ranpo.
He comes the fuck out of nowhere, and it's like, actually, I know what happened. I was like, oh no. It was just, yeah, I did not enjoy it. I don't know anything about the source material. Maybe the novel's better. I have no idea, but yeah, I'm definitely failing it.
Why do they always go to like strip clubs and stuff?
It was a brothel. It wasn't a strip club.
Well, you said red light district. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like that kind of a place.
Oh yeah, I didn't even get to mention like what era this is in. It's like, oh god, what era is this? I'm trying to think.
Tokugawa?
Is it like same as like Bungo Stray Dogs, like kind of that like early 1900s kind of era. I haven't seen it.
I would
I'm
say
not sure.
so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like today. I didn't actually look up what era this is based on, but yeah, it's not like modern times.
All right. Well, it sounds like you didn't like it much, so let's go with a harsher.
No.
Let's go with a harder drop here.
Did they live happily ever after?
Of course, Elizabeth.
What a pile of shit.
I love it.
Unfortunately, like for a lot of mysteries, your mystery can only be as clever as you are yourself, the writer. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, they're really like mysteries are really hard to do like well. So, yeah, unfortunately, this one was just not my thing.
All right, Mason, your moment has come.
Last show of the season.
Congratulations.
Kaguya-sama Love is War, Season 2. Studio A1 Pictures, streaming over on Funimation. It is based on a manga, and it is based to boot. Directed by Shinichi Omata, who did Rakugo, Grand Crest, Sonic Korea, and he's done a ton of storyboarding and episode directing on Shaft's work, such as Arakawa Under the Bridge. And just like last week's director for Pari Ranman did Tari Tari, so I watched that and really enjoyed it. This guy also was heavily involved with Denpa Ono Toseishun Otoko, which is, if you want more Chikatear Chunibyo characters, actually check it out. I enjoyed it. Anyway, Kaguya-sama Season 1 first aired in 2019. I'm sure most people who are listening to this have watched it or at least know what it's about. It's a quick rundown. It's about our two main characters, Kaguya and Miyuki, who are both in the student council. They both love each other, but they don't show that. They are hiding it. This underground thing where they're trying to make the other person be the first to confess, so they perpetually never get together as they play massive galaxy brain mind tricks on one another and try to deceive the other into admitting their feelings. And it's cute and adorable. And if you're coming in for deep romantic realism, you will be disappointed. But if you're coming for anything else, it's
all
a really
of my
good
relationships
time.
have been exactly like this.
Exactly. So yeah, check out Season 1 if you for some reason haven't heard of this great show. I think we reviewed it back in episode 479, so give our review a listen for more details there. Anyway, so coming into this, I had high expectations. Episode 1 did not start off that strong. I did like that the assistant calls out people who have a dependency on coffee. I like that. But overall, it just wasn't really, it's like, this isn't really the Kaguya that I know and love. Like, when are we going to get to that? And then the second half of the first episode, all the characters get together and they play this board game, like Game of Life. And it was excellent, and it was engaging, and it was like, yes, we are back. This is exactly what I came to this show for, and it nailed it. And for the first 3 episodes that I watched, it didn't stop from there. Every moment has been equal or better than Season 1. It's so good. If you weren't into the show because of Season 1, like, this show isn't going to change your mind. There's not so much development from Season 1 where if you didn't watch Season 1, you couldn't jump into this, but I don't know why you would want to. It's just more of the same, and that same is really good. The directing and visual gags are so strong, and the voice actors just kill it. Like, it's just so well produced, and it has so many little references, and just has such a charm to it that I can't help but love it. And I said when we were picking shows, if the OP of this was as good as, what was it, Love Dramatic, or whatever the OP for season 1 was. If the opening of this was as good, the show would be a success. And while the OP is less of like a visual Bond-esque visual feast, it tells a whole story with it, and it's so good. Just in the OP alone, there's a moment where Chika and Ishigami and like 2 other assistants are walking down a hallway with like a magnifying glass, and they're just like grooving and like stepping to the music, and it is the happiest I have felt in my entire life. It's just it feels good to watch the show, and it just sucks you in, and it does comedy, and it does charm right. And I really felt conflicted on passing this because, it is more of the same, and people have seen it, and it's a season 2. People want to hear about us talk about new stuff, but at the end of the day, the show is just so damn good that it would be a shame not to talk about it and just promote it further. So I am merrily passing it. This is still a good show. It still delivers. The situations have not grown old for me yet, and I think it's just going to continue. And I think it's going to get even more. I think it'll be better than season 1 by a landslide. So
wow,
happily passing.
I don't think I've ever been this excited. You're excited? Feel these nipples.
There you go.
Thanks to Captain Avatar in the chat who said Taisho era. That was the era I was trying to think of.
Oh, okay.
Which is like early 1900s. So thank you.
Gotcha.
The era that no one loves. It's like follows the. It's hard to follow the Tokugawa and then the Meiji period. That's just it's not real fair. So, all right. Well, now we have all of the anime that we passed from the spring 2020 season determined. We have Sacho Battle no Jikon Desu, Gleipnir, Kaku Shigoto, Kaguya-sama, Love is War Season 2, Yesterday o Utate, Listeners, and Wave Listen to Me. Oh, and also My Life as a Villainess, All Roads Lead to Doom. Doom. I love that title.
AKA My Bisexual Harem.
There you go. What else do you need? So now that we have all of these shows picked out, we now will be opening up our listener choice poll, which will be starting very soon. And there will be Twitter and on Discord, there will be notifications for that, where you will be able to, as the listener, vote collectively with all of your fellow anime addicts on what the 9th anime that we cover from the spring 2020 season will be. And it's going to consist of everything we didn't pass, but the poll will not contain sequels. It will only contain TV series, and obviously if the show has been totally just shut down because of coronavirus, that won't be in the poll either. Otherwise, everything will be in there. So I've already actually made the poll here. I'm looking at it, and there's quite a lot to choose from. So look out on social media and Discord for notifications about when the listener choice poll is ready. So just look out for that. Any comments, friends, before we move into the next news break? I know you guys want to talk about Chihayafuru.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's just not delay then. Karuta has been around since the mid-6th century and can also be played...
16th.
I can't read today. Wow.
It's okay.
What era is that,
bro?
What era is that?
It's a really old game. All right. Karuta has been around since the mid-16th century and can also be played using Hanafuda cards. A very popular gaming company began their business making Hanafuda cards in 1889. Can you name the game company? We'll be back. I think you just got a clue. We'll be back after the news break with the answer to that and so much more. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, Mitsuki is back, and I'm bringing you another round of your anime-addicted news. Starting us off here with the Seishun Sci-Fi Awards. The nominees are out of the 59th Japan Science Fiction Convention Awards, which were announced this past Thursday. The nominees of the media category included a lot of anime, including Astro Lost in Space, Hello World, Godzilla King of the Monsters, Promare, Weathering with You, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, Fly Me to Saitama, and Shinkansen Henkei Robo Shinkalion Midhai Kara Shinsoku no Alpha X. A lot of these are anime films and live-action films. So it'll be interesting to see who wins this award, and they have lots of different categories in which things are nominated, and we'll have to see who comes out on top when the winners are announced later on. Next up, we have some financial results from Nintendo, which is a change of pace. Nintendo, of course, still enjoying lots of success from their Nintendo Switch, saw net sales of about $10 billion for the fiscal year ending on March 31st, which is a 7.4% increase from last year, pretty strong growth. The company saw an operating profit of about $2.8 billion, up a staggering 35% from last year. So huge success for Nintendo, who sold 21 million Nintendo Switch consoles in this last fiscal year, which is an increase of 24% over the prior year. However, while sales of the Nintendo Switch console did decrease 12.5%, the Nintendo Switch Lite sold an awful lot of different types of units and ended up making up that gap and actually probably caused the gap of the cannibalization of the regular Nintendo Switch. All in all, it looks like Nintendo is doing quite well, very successful, and for those of you that are fans of the Switch, you'll probably continue to enjoy lots of game releases and success through that for a long time. Next up, Funimation is holding a virtual anime convention in July, I presume because of COVID. It will be held on July 3rd and 4th for 2 days. 2-day event of cosplay meetups, industry panels, and Q&A sessions and other things. So the Anime Virtual Lockdown Convention also ran from May 1st to the 3rd, which was an event that included industry panels and guests and the normal anime convention type of events. So if you're a fan of Funimation, look out on July 3rd and 4th, where you'll be able to have a virtual anime convention, which I presume will be open to everybody, but we'll have to see about that. And rounding out the news for this week, we have a very long list of manga titles that are going to be coming out for this past week, May 3rd to the 9th. So these are pretty much all already out. We're just going to blaze through a couple of these real quick because the list is very long. Anime releases: After War Gundam X, Aria the Natural, Black Clover. Other titles such as Kono Oto Tomare, Overlord 2. For print manga releases: Alchemist Who Survived Now Dreams of a Quiet City Life, Aoharu X Machine Gun, Demon Slayer, of course, Dr. Stone, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure coming out, Kaguya-sama Love is War, Love Me, Love Me Not, and lots of your normal things like My Hero Academia. So, and then for digital releases, lots of the same, including All-Rounder, Meguru, Aoharu X Machine Gun, A Condition Called Love, The Faraway Paladin, How Heavy Are the Dumbbells You Lift, and more. If you want to check out the whole list, you can find it online, as a lot of this is coming out through Viz Media and Kodansha. This was Mitsuki, and this was your anime news break. And now, as always, time to get back to the podcast right now. Anime Addicts, the AAA podcast, is always trying to bring you new and exciting ways to enjoy our content, and now we have an exclusive member-only RSS feed on the site that is going to let you access our hentai episodes, our Hobby Addicts, and our After Parties episodes, all from your favorite mobile apps. That's an additional 8 episodes of content per month just for you, and you can listen to it through Apple Podcasts app, you can listen to it through Podcast Addicts, Pocket Cast, Overcast FM, Downcast FM, etc., onward and onward. So many mobile apps for you to choose from. If you were holding back on supporting the podcast because you didn't like listening to our extra content through our website, now you can get it and listen to it the same way you enjoy all your other podcasts. So pitch in, help out the podcast, do a good thing, and enjoy all the extra content we have for you. And you will get all this extra content and an exclusive member RSS feed for you to enjoy. That's aaapodcast.com/join and support the podcast.
この番組は JList.com の提供でお送りします。
Alrighty, I guess we're back then. I was waiting to see if Enzo was gonna come back. But before we went on break, we had a question for you. The question was, Karuta has been around since the mid-16th century. It can also be played using Hanafuda cards. A very popular gaming company began their business making Hanafuda cards in 1889. The name of that company was Nintendo.
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 I want to make a side note here real quick. I started listening to a podcast that's just reminded me called Business Wars. Freaking awesome. One of their episodes is about Nintendo versus Sony and how the two companies like went at each other during the 90s and whatever. And there's like a 6-part episode about it. It's really good. You guys should check it out.
Business Wars, you said?
Business Wars. It's awesome. They did. I've listened to Amazon versus Walmart. I listened to. I'm listening to Hershey versus Mars. It's like they have like 40 of these, and they're all unbelievably produced. So, all right.
Yeah. Sorry about being late there. I completely lost track of the time.
I was like, oh no, is he to come back? Then I saw we coming back on stream. I was like, well, I guess I should start.
Yeah, my bad. All good.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right.
It's time for iTunes review.
Yay.
So if you would like to leave us an iTunes review, please go to iTunes at AAA Podcast or Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast and leave us a 5-star and we'll read it on the show. We really appreciate all of your feedback. So if you would like to leave us a 5-star, please do, but also leave us suggestions on how we can improve. So this one is from Mugen 1597. And they said, amazing podcast. Hey, AAA, you guys do an amazing job. Been a listener for more than 2 years now, and I wish I would have found you earlier. Keep up the good work. Please, senpais, make my anime addiction worse. Well, thank you, Mugen.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it. We are also a little low on 5 stars, so please give us some reviews and help us keep the streak alive of how many episodes have we gone with 5 stars?
It's impossible to know.
Probably like 1,000.
It's been like 5 years, so I don't know.
We're only on episode 500 something, but yeah, we've had 1,000 episodes of 5 stars.
But if you have 5-star reviews, that counts for like 5 per episode, right?
Well,
yes, that's exactly how that works.
We also have like 650 reviews on iTunes, so it's. I mean, you know what? Fuck it. It's math, but who cares? You know what? We've had 1,000.
We need the reviews, people, and we appreciate them every single time.
I love you. I'll snuggle the shit out of you. You know what? Damn it. I'm just going to sit here and drink my Monster and eat my cookie like a good boy.
There we go, because it is time for the long-fabled, long-heralded review of Chihayafuru Season 3. You can watch this over on Crunchyroll and High Dive. I passed this back in episode 497. We actually did a review of this of season 1 back on episode 129 of this podcast.
Damn.
And season 2 back in 184. So it has been a hot minute, and because of that, it's been like 7 years since season 2 aired, and it's been so long that we were like, you know what? Even though it is a season 3, the series is still close to our hearts, and it's still good, and it's been so long that I think we all felt okay passing it for a review. So even though it's season 3 and people should know what they're getting into when they listen to this review, they should have seen Chihayafuru by now. You've had some time.
You know, Mason, it's been a long time since the first season came out.
Yeah.
And yet one question still remains. Is Karuta a sport?
It's a sport. It is without doubt, without debate, without question, a sport in every metric of the world. I know we're being facetious and fun, but
it never dies.
For the sake of this not running too long, I'm not going to go into it. But it is a sport. Write it in stone. It is a fact, and we can move on. So, being that it's been held in high regard for so long, Mandi, what were your initial impressions going into Chihayafuru?
You mean my expectations?
Yeah, your expectations, all that stuff.
Yeah, so I loved season 1 and 2, so I was excited to see what would happen in season 3. I fell in love with the characters, and one character in particular, and there were a few others that I was excited to learn more about that we didn't really, that were always kind of like little mysterious in the background. So, yeah, I was excited going in, and I had high expectations.
Very nice. And yeah, I was probably in the same boat. I do want to mention now, before we get into our spoiler-free recommendations, that we will not spoiler in this next segment, but this review is going to be highly spoiler.
Higher spoiler.
Higher than the Highlanders. And I encourage people, watch this show before we get into the weeds, because I'm just going to talk about moments over and over and over and over and over, and just warning you now. So, spoiler-free recommendation is, I'm going to give this show an exceptional score, so go watch it. The first 3 episodes of the series are not the best, but I guarantee you it springboards to something so good later on, so stick with it. I highly recommend it. What makes season 3 so good is what made season 1 and 2 so good. It's like it never missed a beat. It is all the same with seasons 1 and 2, but better. This has turned into one of the finest sports shows. I would put it up there on a very similar bar as Hajime no Ippo. They're both like 75 episodes long. They're both done by Studio Madhouse, and they just have phenomenal execution, just consistency and drive, episode after episode. There's no filler arcs. It just goes so hard, so strong, so well. It's so good. And I'm trying to not, I don't know what more to say about it.
You're
It's
very
just good.
excited.
It's just good. I'm still eating my pancakes
Good.
because of one of the main characters, and
Good for
he's
you.
my boy. And I think it's the sugar high. I'm not used to having this much sugar, so I'm
I
like
can
3 of them
tell.
down. So I'm struggling over here, but it's because of untapped excitement. So Mandy, what are your thoughts?
Did Enzo watch any of this? Were you able to?
No, so like I didn't really, because I never really finished season 2, and season 1 was so long ago that I don't remember anything from then either. So like for me to give season 3 like a fair shot, it would have involved watching like pretty much highlights of season 1 and pretty all of season 2 again. And unfortunately, even though it's crazy to say this, like, I still am too busy to watch that much anime in my day-to-day because of work. So I this is one, and this is something community. This is something I communicated ahead of time. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be very useful for the Chihayafuru review, because I don't think I'll be able to give like good insight. But yeah, so unfortunately, no, I haven't been able to really watch much of Chihayafuru recently. But I will say, I do remember feeling amazing during watching season 1. So let me know if that carries over. And don't mind me for the spoilers. I will probably forget everything I say about this show on purpose, because I will be watching this later in life for sure.
That's
all
cool.
3 seasons. So
And
I wasn't sure, so I didn't want to skip over you in case you had something to say.
I appreciate that, my friend. So yeah, sorry. I have had to get up from the people that are listening to the podcast. I've had to get up from my chair like 4 times now because of that shit.
That's okay.
My bad, fellow host. Thank you.
And if people are wondering why I'm not piping up, it's because I have seen approximately 0 episodes of Chihayafuru. So
Yeah,
I will politely excuse myself from making stupid comments.
We have
Also,
2 experts here, though.
Enzo, I don't know. I couldn't remember if Mason mentioned it, but the director is also the director of Nana.
Yeah, so that is something I knew, and that's what gave me a little bit of a hype for this. Well,
Okay.
is this the same director for all the seasons, right? Yeah,
I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yep.
dope. It's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So, yeah. Do I recommend it? Yes, I absolutely recommend it. I think it's a must-watch. Like this season, I really enjoyed this season the most out of all 3 so far. I thought it was so phenomenal, not only from the characters. Finally getting so much development, like from where they start at the beginning of season 3 towards the end, they're almost in completely different spots, and it was so satisfying. Some characters that I felt were not getting any attention got so much attention in this season. It was so satisfying to finally have conflicts addressed that were getting a little frustrating. It's so great, and there were so many other new characters that were introduced that were fascinating. There was a character that was kind of a mysterious character in the background, finally got some attention, and he's wonderful, and I love him. And yeah, not only that, but the storyboarding is fantastic. The framing is amazing. Like the visuals are so spectacular. I highly recommend checking this out. And yeah, no, I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to talk more about it.
Hard to agree. Best season yet. Watch it, people.
But
All
I
right.
will say, if you have not watched any Chihayafuru, you have no reason to watch season 3 because nothing will make sense.
And this review won't even make sense.
No, so please start from the beginning, and it's worth it.
Are we at spoilers?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Spoilers are coming.
Oh my god!
I will proceed to mute my mic unless I have questions.
There you go. And don't feel free to ask questions if you want. Mandy, I wasn't sure how you wanted to do this. I figured we'd go by the arcs, like in order,
Yeah,
and just
go for
run
it.
through moments
This
we
is
like.
you passed the show, so you go ahead and lead it.
Ooh, it's my turn, baby. So the first arc is the Yoshino tournament arc, which is episodes 1 through 6, which is essentially this show gives almost no flashback, no rerun. We just jump back into it like 7 years never happened. And essentially we get the, like I said, the Yoshino tournament where Chihayafuru and her team have entered, and the first new character we get is actually one of my favorite characters in the whole series, which is the return of the past queen, Haruka, who took off, I think it was like 4 years to be a mom. And she just comes rolling back in like it's no big deal. And the biggest thing about this arc that really cemented my enjoyment for the series is after 50 plus episodes, this series still finds a way to make this card game still crazy compelling and have so many different levels of intrigue and techniques that you would think has been long since exhausted after the second season. But no, they're still just like, oh, the clothing you have, your, all these different statuses and minute changes on like the dialect region of the speaker can completely change the landscape. And it's in these details that the game and the show shine.
Yeah, this season came in swinging. like even the first episode starts off with a training camp, and even that was exciting. We get matches straight away, and it was just I don't know. It's always the matches in like the Karate matches in this show are always so fast, like fun to watch, and they're really exciting. Like a lot of the tournaments had me sitting on the edge of my seat anticipating what's going to happen, who could possibly win. I never felt like I knew exactly who was going to win. I felt like for every match it swung back and forth between it could be either one of them, and that's what made, I don't know, all the matches were really exciting for me.
And you're in luck because essentially, especially I thought compared to season 2, especially the first half of season 3 was almost nothing but matches.
Yes, yeah.
It was almost nonstop, and all this character development still happened during matches, but there's like everything that was building up in season 2 just exploded with match after match, tournament after tournament, and they were so engaging and all the way through. It was so good. I feel like we don't need to touch on like a spoiler of a result of a tournament if it didn't really impact the story, so I'm not gonna reveal who won that. But the next arc, episode 7 through 10, was like the qualifying tournament arc where we finally get best girl Shinobu finally arrives. I just want to take her on a motorcycle trip across Japan. That is my dream. I love it. She's besto. Honestly, this show is so much more gripping than a show when people are like, oh, people could die at any moment, anyone can die. Well, in this show, anyone could lose at any moment, and that is somehow even more.
Some people
compelling in my
die on
mind.
the inside.
They die on the inside. We got just so many great. It wasn't my favorite moment of the show, but we have Sumire defending Taichi from his mom, like crashing the party.
Yeah.
Something that like we've heard rumored for seasons, but now she's finally like coming in and like being a major force, and this essentially new character who's not even that invested in Karta is like defending her turf, and it's so rewarding. And so we get the building blocks of characterization, because I think the biggest strength of the show is every characterization pays off down the road. Everything builds towards something, and when the dominoes fall, they always hit really well.
Yeah, There's so much going on in this season, from teenage love romances developing, or their conflicts between them. We have older characters who are trying to compete in a tournament where the younger players have the advantage. And we have a mother who is trying to stay in a sport while she's raising kids and expecting a new kid. It's just, there's so many different kind of conflicts in here that are just, everything together makes it so fascinating. There's always something for everybody, I feel like.
Yeah, and honestly, there's like just an example of how this show continues to be deep. And it's a memorization game where you have to keep track of so much. But there's a moment where Arata needs to leave the match because he had to take some poops. Just trust me on this. And when he comes back, sure, his opponent was able to get some easy cards, but then you realize by him missing out on potentially called cards, he doesn't know what was read. Because he doesn't know what was read, he doesn't know what is left. And because the whole syllable count can completely change if a card becomes a 2 to a 1 syllable card. I know this makes no sense if you've never seen the show, so I'm not even bothering to explain it because you don't deserve me to, because you should watch the show. But just a moment like that was just like, wow, I really appreciate the amount of memorization and knowledge that goes into this constantly shifting game board. It is unbelievably deep that I had a whole new respect for it. And I will say the show is very much a pure sports show, and there's not a whole lot of metaphors in the games. Like, if someone takes a card or loses a card, it usually doesn't mean that much in it of itself. But this tournament, we had both Arata and Taichi losing the Chihaya card when it was read. And man, that was big, because this, especially the next arc, we'll get to it, but this was the beginning of the romantic side of the show finally bearing fruit. And I think the big lesson was Taichi lost the Chihaya card and couldn't recover from it. And he kind of didn't blame his loss on that, but he was like, oh, if I hadn't lost that card, I would have won. Whereas Arata loses Chihaya's card, but still wins. And I think that was like, ooh, we're getting into it. It's the tip of the iceberg. And look, if you care about Team Taichi or Team Arata, good for you, whatever. I am Team Karuta, where I don't worry about any of that nonsense.
You're Team Chihaya.
No.
Karuta is Chihaya's one true love.
I sympathize with Taichi. You know, he's my boy. I've got long eyelashes like him. He wants to be the best at everything, and I want to be the best at everything. And I love him so much, and I think Chihaya is just not the right answer for him. So I don't cheer for him in his pursuit of romanticism with her, but he is a good boy, and
he's such a good boy. Oh,
God, eyelashes.
Keiji, I feel so sad. Before we get into like the main characters, I want to talk about some of the side ones. Harada, or hopefully I can say his name right. Harada, their instructor. Man,
oh yeah.
This season endeared me so much to him. I loved all of his scenes because he's an older man. He's struggling with cramps in his legs. He's having a really hard time kneeling on the ground for that long. And after some of the matches, because it's so intense for him, he just straight up passes out. And I was so worried that he was going to die this season. I was like, every match with him, he would just be breathing and sweating like just profusely, and I'm like, oh my god, he's going to die. And I was terrified. And
I never thought he was going to die.
I really thought he was going to die. I thought he was just going to straight up pass out after a match and die. And I was like, oh my god, please don't kill Harada. But no, I loved everything with him and is it Ino Kuma, the woman, the mom? I think that was her name.
Oh, Haruka? I don't remember her.
Haruka? I think Ino Kuma. Last name.
Ino Kuma, you're right.
Haruka. Both of them going up against Suo and Shinobu
in the Queen and Master match,
yeah, and the Queen and King match. Or I was just, man, those episodes were so good, and they were like some of my favorites, where these these older, more experienced players are trying to take those titles from them, and they're like, "This is both of them." Harada is struggling. He's an older man. He's having a lot of trouble with this, and Haruka is struggling because she's like, "I'm expecting another kid. I cannot keep doing this for so long. I have 2 kids that I'm taking care of, and now I'm expecting another one." She was pregnant. She's doing these matches pregnant. And I love that both of them are like, this is our last chance to take this title. And those matches were so intense for me because I felt like they could go either way. Either they're finally going to get their chance to take those titles because it's their last time to do so, or I felt like Suo and Shinobu could possibly keep their titles. And man, I love like the back and forth between the older
the old guard
participants
versus
won.
the new guard. Yeah.
Like the older ones like won their first match, and then Shinobu and Suo finally got their shit together. Like, no, let's reclaim let's keep our title, let's defend it. I was like, oh God, those episodes are some of my favorite in this season.
And it's an interesting dynamic because the old guard is the newcomers. It's the young people that are defending the title. It's the old people who are on their way out or giving their last stand to try to earn it, which I thought was interesting. But before we get to that, I will say a moment with Haruka in the next arc, 11 through 14, which was the playoff to become the challenger in the Master and Queen match, was the most emotional moment and best moment of the entire show. And I might tear up a little bit thinking about it.
Oh.
It was so flawlessly executed.
Don't even feel bad because I cried so many times this season.
So, like Mandy mentioned, Haruka is like a mid-30s mother wrestling with the pursuit of her dream. This is her passion, to be the queen again. But it's inherently taking time away from her kids, the traveling, the practice, the tournaments. She is not being the mother she wants to be. Not out of neglect, but it's just time. It's time that she doesn't have. And right before the challenger match, one of her baby needs milk, and she's already in her hakama. She's like, I'm unable to provide this. I am a mom who is not able to care for my kids because of the sport I'm playing inherently. And all of a sudden, the mother of a side character, the side character of a side character, Kanade's mom, who is introduced seasons ago as like this kimono mastermind, notices the distress, and with her knowledge of kimonos and like her ulterior business shrewdness, swiftly just comes into the room and like simply but powerfully symbolizes how her 2 passions, cartoon children, can coexist by like saying like, oh, the clothes you are wearing are inherently designed and are capable to care for your children. And I'm like, okay, that was good. And then she starts feeding her kid, and I think she makes mention like, these clothes won't even get wrinkled. And I was like, oh my goodness. I don't know why, but that was just so beautifully done and so simple. But for that whole execution to come about took episodes and seasons of planning. And for them to just completely nail that note was like, ooh, I had to like stop the episode and just like pace around the room. It was good. It was good.
So let's talk about a second about Suo.
Okay.
Because like seasons 1 and 2, Suo's always like this like mysterious character in the background. He's the best at karuta, and then they introduce him. He's just like a big goofball. I love Suo so much.
Just going around handing out the dorayaki to people.
Yeah, and his little crush on Chihaya.
On everyone.
That's true. He thought for sure that they were going to be together. And then when Taichi comes in, like, no, we're together. He's like, divorce. I love him so much. I think I have a crush on Suo.
He's pretty good. But okay.
I want more of him.
To rewind once more again because I believe episodes 11 through 14 were my favorite by far, because the other thing that happens out of the challenger match when Arata is spoilers defeated, spoilered, he accepts it, and we finally get a confession. He finally is like, Chihaya, I want to, and he confesses to her. And I was so frightened that Chihaya was going to be so dense that she
Me too.
Like, wouldn't get it, because he's like, he's not like, Chihaya, I like you. we should go on dates. We should be a romantic couple. He's like, oh, I want to play Karuto with you for the rest of my life. And I was like, oh, she's going to be like, I too like playing Karuta. Let's play Karuta as friends forever. But no, she is visibly shook by it for many episodes. And I was like, yes, we're finally moving in that direction. And honestly, I wouldn't really mention on it, Chihaya plays very little Karuta. The main character is not playing Karuta for most of this series. And I think there's even like a meme reference where they like show her in a garden and they're like, no, main character not playing Karuta.
Yeah.
But I like that moment. Also, another small thing, I love how Shinobu, the queen, picks up the phone, or Chihaya in another episode picks up the phone, and because of their Karuta skills, the instant the person on the other end starts speaking, they like hang up or like know that they're sick. Like their just listening skills are that good that like they can instantly decipher that on a phone call. And I thought that was, once again, unnecessary but such a nice touch.
Yeah, no, Chihaya doesn't play much during this season, but I think it was also kind of necessary because Arata and Taichi had a lot of developing to do. And this was finally their moment to address both of their conflicts with concerning Chihaya. So, starting with Arata, which this season made me actually care a bit about him because like season 1 and 2, he wasn't like around much. I felt like he was still like this character who was set up as kind of like being OP at Karuta. He's the best. Like,
I mean, he was always distant emotionally and just like physically.
Yeah, he was always very distant, and I always got the feeling that he was like this Karuta prodigy. But this season made me care so much more about him because we find out Arata is not as good at Karuta as we were led to believe. He loses his match against Suo. He was finally losing matches, and I was like, okay, I get this. And and he's not immune to emotions, as we have seen. And that we finally got him. He was the first one to finally confess to Chihaya, because that was their like love triangle has been going on since season 1, and it was getting a little frustrating because we're like, man, is anyone ever gonna finally just talk to each other? Chihaya's dense as shit. And the other two never even say anything. So finally it's coming all out, and I was very happy that Chihaya finally got a good look at what she was doing to both of them, because she has been stringing them both along, and she has done so much emotional damage to Taichi and not even realizing what she's doing. So finally she realizes, oh shit, I've hurt these two a lot by not really addressing what's going on between us or not even realizing it. So man, the development between the three was so fantastic.
And Naruto's so solid, and in my mind, he wins because he came first. He gets first dibs because he manned up and did it, and Chihaya finally gets to make a decision now. But another note on the characters, I feel like another thing you mentioned it on, so kind of being OP, but he's actually a goofball. Naruto's kind of OP, but he's not as good as we thought. I feel like, especially in the Masters and Shinobu, there's a little bit more revealed on how like mentally odd or eccentric they are in society. Like kind of the way their brains are wired are kind of like optimal for the games of Karuto, but kind of makes them, because of their time away from human society, just kind of not fit the square peg in the round hole. And you get that with like previous masters who are kind of always airheaded or a little off. And I feel like Chihaya could kind of fit into that mold of just being like little different in a way that kind of propels her Karuta growth. And I feel like Arata we saw less of that in him becoming more well-rounded and sociable in a good way. So I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting point. As far as the Master and Queen matches themselves, episodes 15 to 20, I really didn't have a whole lot to talk about. It was just really well done sports anime by the book. You had, Harada's friend / rival over years, like supporting him, and like this weird little trio relationship they had with the reader come into play. Thought that was a nice touch. It was just solid. I didn't have a whole lot of depth to add to it than that. I don't know if you had any comments.
Oh no, I was gonna talk about Taichi.
Well, then we can move on. Episodes 21 through 24, aka what I call the Confession Highway arc, is kind of after all the matches are over. We got our new master, we got our new queen, same as it always was, and now people are left to kind of see how the pieces have fallen, and we finally get Taichi's rebuttal. So I'll let you take the lead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that yeah, Taichi, I really like what they have done with this season when they brought in the Taichi versus Arata match, because it's something that both of them needed. They needed to finally come together and like figure out what they're doing, because Taichi for so long we know that he does not actually care for Karuta. He's only doing this for Chihaya, and that's it. But it was great that we finally got to see him realize that. And so he loses his match against Arata. He knows that Chihaya is more interested in Arata than him. And going down to the part where he finally confesses his feelings to Chihaya. We don't know what she said. Did they say what she said?
No, all we got was
they blocked it out.
He talked about how he was a coward. He was always a coward. He finally confesses for the grievance that he committed in episode 1 of season 1. So it only took him 72 episodes or whatever it was. And then we see them talk to one another, but we don't hear what they say.
Yeah, so and then he leaves the Karate Club. And I like the moment where Chihaya chased him down, was trying to convince him not to, and he finally said, Chihaya, do you think I'm made of stone? Like he has his emotions, and I think it's best for him just to walk away and try to figure things out on his own. And I was happy that they finally did it. Although this season ended in kind of like a cliffhanger, because now all the characters are in different places. Arata is working with his own team, and I think he's going strong. And then, but his best friends, Chihaya and Taichi, have both left the club. And that's where it
they
ends.
both left their team the moment that Arata makes his own team, explicitly so his team can just compete against their team. Not in like a rival way, just I want to play Karuta with you guys. I can do that by making my team to play your team that you are now leaving. Oh no, what is happening? But they'll come back. They always come back. Taichi is a coward. Remains a coward. I do love him.
Coward. He has emotions. He's not made of stone.
He calls himself a coward and then confesses his love with his arm over his eyes.
He was crying.
He's a coward, and he's
not a coward.
And then he's like, Chihaya, you're made out of stone, implying that because she is the rock that his waves crash against, and she is dense
and she
as
is
a rock.
dumb as a rock.
We love them all. I love all these characters. I love the moments where Retro Kun, who like wins Class B, and the guy's like, you're really bad. And the guy's like, I've been doing this for 10 years. And he's like, you've been playing Karuta for 10 years and you're still bad? That's why you're a side character. I love it. I don't know. The story is not over yet. There has to be a season 4. Please, God, tell me it's real. And I will be so hyped to watch it. But it was solid. It was 15, 20 episodes of match with great character building, great action. And then got the romance finally come to a head, and it will be very interesting to see what plays out of it.
There are a lot of really great framing shots too, and how they frame characters to illustrate their inner turmoil or being lonely. And a lot of the color choices were so fantastic. A lot of the matches with Arata and Taichi were dark and blue in color. And I thought the visuals were fantastic, and I like on some of the episodes, your hands are what you use to play Karuta, and there is a lot of emphasis on hands in a lot of the scenes, and
hands and eyes.
What?
And eyes, like.
Well, yeah, and eyes, yeah. And no, I thought the directing in it was so good, and yeah, I feel like there are so many episodes where you could take screenshots and to actually display, like to illustrate what the characters were going through. It was just really, really well done.
I thought the directing was solid. I thought the visuals were by far the weakest part of the show. There was a lot of moments, like Mandy said, where it was interpreted well or whatever. But a lot of times it didn't come off well. There was like a glass shattering effect in episode 13 that looked really meh. There's a moment where like the speaker, the reciter, is like mentioned like, oh, he's like a high-end audio speaker, and they just like copy paste like a Google Images speaker on top of his face, and it looks really bad. I would say the biggest issue with the show is that there's not a lot of artistic shots that I would say pushes the medium in any way. It's a very consistent looking show, but like there was no moments where I'm like, oh, they got creative and made like this show didn't have to be anime. There was nothing that pushed it visually in that regard where I was like, wow, that was really inventive or impressive in the way that like Sangatsu no Lion does. And I don't know, it was a good looking show, but it didn't wow me at any moment. Something that did wow me is the music, though, which remains enchanting and transcendent. And there are certain motifs from the show where if you just play like the piano melody, I'll be like, yep, I'm emotional now. That was good. Of course, it's the Chihayafuru show, so we get another OP by 99 Radio Service, who does all the OPs. They're pretty good. They have the same like positive vibe that I get from like a Super Beaver song. The biggest problem is they reused it throughout the show all the time. Like on the train or at the izakaya, they were like playing the OP like over someone's speakers, and I really don't like when that's done. I think if they had used like the OPs from seasons 1 and 2 in those moments, it would have been nice like throwback or callback or cool. But when they overuse it that much, it just feels like we don't have enough music, so we're just going to reuse what you've already heard. And I don't know. Yikes. That's just personal taste, though. Some characters that have shoujo eyes, they weren't bad at all. Most of them don't, so not an issue. I don't know. It was more than good, and I'm ready to score it.
Haruka looks like straight up a phantom thief.
She's straight out of Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Where's her vacuum cleaner?
The eyes are very inconsistent. Like, not in that they look like... Well, they are good because they make all the characters look unique, but they do look like they were all drawn by different people from different shows sometimes.
Yeah.
So, not a huge complaint, just something to mention. No one's dropping the show because of how the eyes look. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, final score. If you don't have any more comments, do you want to go first or you want me to?
You can go first.
I'll go first. I don't know. Karuto is a very unique game, and I feel like watching it through anime is like the best way to experience it. It doesn't like really get me hyped to be exercise or physical like other sports shows do, but it did inspire a whole nationwide boom in the sport, and I can't wait till we finally get to play it IRL. People a lot of time will ask me or even joke like, oh, Mason doesn't like anime. He gives everything best scores. Why you even watch it? You probably don't even like the stuff.
He doesn't even like anime.
Well, you're wrong. It's because those anime aren't Chihayafuru, and I put up with all the crappy shows and Babylons and Cop Crafts and ancient whatever, you know, the stuff. It's because of shows like this, and shows like this are the reason why we keep watching, because it's so solid. The show was almost perfect. I loved every moment of it. I'm gonna give it 4.5 best t-shirts in anime out of 5.
Oh yeah, Chihaya does have some great t-shirts. I missed Taichi's Desperado one. I really enjoyed it. Every episode. I think Twitter got tired of me mentioning it every Wednesday. Oh no, was it Monday or Wednesday? I can't remember which. I think it was Wednesdays that it was airing on. But yeah, I watched it week to week. I was always anticipating the next episode. Absolutely love it. I think it was fantastic. I like what they did with a lot of the characters. I love the matches between Harada and Haruka with Suo and Shinobu. Those were like some of my favorites. And I'm so happy they finally addressed a lot of the conflicts with the characters that they have been teasing about since season 1. And it felt like season 1 was like, introducing the characters. Season 2 was matches. This is finally the drama, the addressing everything that they set up, and it was very satisfying, even if it didn't have a like a conclusive ending. Like we don't know what's going to happen next, and God, I hope we get more. But yeah, no, and I absolutely love Taichi, and I was really happy with what they did with him this season because I feel a very close attachment to him with he has such crippling self-esteem issues, and I was happy that he's finally addressing those and trying to grow past them. And yeah, no, I absolutely love it, and I was gonna give it 5. I feel bad giving it a 5 because the ending isn't like, I don't know, so open-ended. We don't know what's gonna happen. It ended so abruptly.
Honestly, I liked how everything played out. If they're like, you know what, Chihayafuru not in the cards, it's not gonna happen, I'd still be like, yes, this was solid. Says me, the guy trying to convince you of a 5 from the guy who didn't give it a 5.
Yeah, right. What the hell is that? And it made me want to go read the manga too. Like after I finished it, I instantly was like, I want to go read the manga. But no, fuck it. You know what? I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 Taichis.
Hell yeah.
Fuck
Hell
it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that I did with Vinland Saga. I was like, and then I was like, fuck it. You know what? I don't have anime police coming after me. 5 out of 5.
No, it was.
Stop me. Do something.
Nitz, thank you for sitting through this. We appreciate it. What did our listeners think of this show?
Let me go back to our podcast
Sorry,
notes
I can do
I was
it.
clicked off.
I can do it.
About half the listeners gave the show a 5, and the majority of the remainder gave it a 4. There were a few.
We had one person.
Yeah.
We had one person give it a 2, one person give it a 1. Whoever you guys are, you suck.
Oh shit.
Damn, Mandy.
I'm just kidding.
You know what? Fuck it.
I'm just saying.
Go ahead, Mandy. Let him know.
No, I'm just gonna say, if you're gonna give it that low score, I don't care. I'm sure you had a valid reason, but don't be a coward and not leave a comment.
Oh shit! She just dropped some
Tell me why
thunder.
you didn't like it.
Say with your chest.
Say it with your chest.
No, the average is a 4 for listeners.
You know,
because 2 sourpusses.
we could get to mailbags.
We could.
Let's fucking do it.
It's
Fucking
time
send it,
for
my
an
guy.
almighty anime mailbag. Anime.
Mailbag.
What's a mailbag? It's been so long.
So I think next week we will do a whole mailbag episode. Now that we're done running through all the reviews.
Yeah.
But if you want to leave us a mailbag on our website, aaapodcast.com, you can leave us a mailbag by clicking on the mailbag button. Imagine that on the top of the website. And we will answer pretty much any question you have. We have 2 mailbags here. The first is by Yotaru Vegeta Mason.
Yeah, and he writes, have any of you put your watching habits into one of those quote-unquote instant graph websites that show your favorite anime studio, your favorite genre, etc.? Were there any surprises in that data? So, I personally have. There's a website, anime.plus, that I love to use. It kind of takes data from my anime list, which you can find me at MAKLAX, plug. You throw it in there, and it gives you a whole bunch of info. It tells you your favorites by years, by decades, by genres, all that stuff. So check it out. The genre section is kind of vague because things are tagged in very nebulous ways. So I don't really reference that for data, but I really like going there for studios and really learning what studios I tend to like. And then I'm like, oh, I guess I like this studio a whole lot. Let me check out what other stuff they've made. And that's led to me finding a bunch of stuff that has become my favorite. For example, my favorite studios by far are Shaft, Artland, because they did Legend of Galactic Heroes and Mushishi, Madhouse, Manglobe, and surprisingly Sunrise.
I haven't really...
I have not done this.
Yeah, I don't take the time to really do this sort of thing, unfortunately. Sorry.
Man, it's been so long since I wrote the answer to this because I think we put this mailbag down like months ago.
At least like 2 months ago.
Yeah. So I was like, I was reading my own answer, like, I wrote this. But my favorite genre on there was slice of life, which is not surprising at all because God, I love slice of life shows. But then my next ones were drama, historical, and mystery, which are all my brand. So it's doing its job apparently. And
Yeah.
what was really interesting though is that my lowest was fantasy. And I was like, man, I'm a fucking D&D nerd. Like, I love like Dragonlance and The Witcher and fucking Pathfinder. Why is fantasy so low? So my question is, why is anime fantasy so bad?
It's because I haven't checked your list, and you can click on a genre to see all the shows that are listed under that. And I'm guessing it's because
Oh, I didn't look.
so many shows are listed
Are
with the
listed
fantasy
fantasy? Yeah.
tag that those just inherently get lower scores. So
Yeah.
it pulls the whole thing down. Like the quote unquote
Probably, yeah.
school show. If any anime takes place in school, which I've never heard of, everything gets like put into that. So that's why like school is really low on my list, even though I don't have opinions for or against it. It's just
Hmm.
a byproduct.
Yeah. My favorite studio was Shaft. Not surprising at all. And Artland was second because of Legend of Galactic Heroes and Mushishi. Not surprising.
Yep.
What is surprising is my third was Shuka, and it's all because of Natsume. And that's it.
Why is that surprising? Then
Because that was the only anime on the entire list that I had rated like really high. So it's all Natsume's like fault that that's up so high.
heck yeah.
Yeah, no, I've never really put my stuff in a thing like that, but I would imagine mine's like slice of life music, and then all the music anime would show up probably, and like the studios that did them.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yep.
Next question, Enzo?
Next question, Enzy.
Yeah, so the next one comes in from Moral, and Moral says, "Hi, I was wondering with the recent success of the live-action Netflix Witcher show, if there was any particular video games you guys thought would excel if adapted to anime. You guys got anything?"
Yeah, Metroid.
Yep.
Why hasn't Metroid had an anime?
Huge yes, actually. What the fuck?
That's actually really surprising to me.
Yeah, for sure. I could see it already in my head.
I like Final Fantasy Tactics as a live action, or as an anime rather. The it has a good war theme to it, and there's a lot of. It's got a pretty strong plot line, but there's fantasy elements that will keep people entertained. I think it needs a better title. I think it's called I think in the game it's the War of the Lions, which I think would be a much better title. So, yeah, I mean, I like this. I'd like to see it because I think the game is great.
My answers were obviously the Nair franchise because it's essentially already anime, especially Automata. I thought Castle Crashers, if they did it like Konosuba with like a bunch of goofy characters like bouncing around fighting poop bears, that could be pretty funny. And I also realized that The Binding of Isaac is just already an anime. It's called Made in Abyss. Just the descent that's depressing and a good. Yeah. So go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I also said Silent Hill. I think that would be a pretty good anime.
I'd like that.
And then for Western games, I wrote down God of War might be a decent anime.
Ooh.
I don't know. The other one is an indie game. So again, if I lived in a magical world where indie games got anime. But the Valhalla Cyberpunk bartender action game might be interesting. It's like a slice of life. Because some of these stories in that were really interesting. I really loved that game. And I don't know, maybe if it was just like a little slice of life about this woman running a bar in this like cyberpunk world. I don't know.
It's funny, you said God of War, and my first thought was they already made Vinland Saga. I'm like, oh yeah, there was a whole other part of God of War games. So I wasn't sure which one you were talking about, but I like it nonetheless.
Yeah.
All right. Nice.
Okay,
Enzo?
guys. Yeah, and so what do you got?
I have never really thought like to me like the ones League of well, actually I would love a League of Legends anime TBH. I think
aren't they making one?
They're making one, but it's not necessarily. It's not like it's like a 3D model type thing. I wish it was more anime style, but I mean they've done a whole bunch of they've done an anime short before, which is cool. Yeah, actually, fuck it, League of Legends, because you know what? The lore is rich as fuck. If you take the time to read the lore for these characters, like it really does exist, and the people are dying for a game, like for a series. So yeah, I was gonna say that I haven't really thought about this much because I just haven't. But yeah, League of Legends, let's get it.
Magic
Is
the
that-
Gathering still has an anime coming.
That's
Wow.
sick.
I am not
That's sick.
surprised.
Yeah.
What doesn't Magic the Gathering have?
I don't know.
I think anime is pretty much the only thing
They're
it
also
doesn't.
making a live action, apparently.
Crazy. But
I would probably just play like Lord of the Rings.
All right,
All
is
right.
that the episode, guys?
That's it, guys. We are done. Thank you so much for listening. We're gonna do an after party right after this. I think we're gonna end up talking about what we're gonna be doing in the next 4 episodes on the podcast, including what reviews to tackle. So stick around for that if you would like to. Also, if you'd like to sign up to support the podcast, you can do it on our website, aaapodcast.com/join. You'll get our after parties, our hobby addicts, our hentai episodes, all via that link. Of course, check us out on social media. Check out our Discord. Follow us on Twitch, please, and thank you. Guys, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me at ENZOBADIA, Enzo Badia, on Twitter and Instagram.
You can find me at AAA_Mandi with an I. I'm gonna change that name because it's
Not
way too
yet
much.
changed.
It's not yet. I'm going to though. I just need to brainstorm a bit. But that's me on Twitter, and I talk about ferrets and games and anime and other weird shit.
And Mason?
I'm nowhere. Oh,
he's a
Don't
phantom.
forget to call your mom today for Mother's Day.
Happy
Last
Mother's
reminder
Day.
if you're watching this live. If not, and you forgot, big oof, my dude. You better apologize.
And you can find me at Pope Mitsugi on Twitter. Guys, thank you so much for watching live. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for contributing. I hope we made your anime addiction worse. We'll see you next week on the podcast. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye.